Istanbul 1660s, Ottoman Empire. At peak, imagine sailing into the Golden Horn in 1665 and witnessing something unprecedented. The greatest Islamic empire in history, commanding 3 continents from a single magnificent city. Picture this. You're walking through Topkapi Palace, where Sultan Mehmed IV rules territories larger than...
In the name of God, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful. Praise be to God, Lord.
Than Rome ever dreamed of, while Ottoman architecture creates beauty from geometric perfection and divine inspiration that Western Europe can barely imagine. Step into Istanbul when the Bosphorus connects Europe and Asia, under Ottoman control, where the Sultan's fleets dominate from the Black Sea to the Mediterranean, and the crescent and star flies over an empire from Hungary to Yemen, from Crimea to Egypt. They called it the Sublime Porte. And in 1660s Istanbul, that gate opened onto the most powerful Islamic empire since the Caliphate, where every bazaar, every hammam, every imperial ceremony demonstrates that Ottoman culture has created its own path to greatness. You're witnessing the call to prayer echoing across hundreds of minarets as they announce the power of an empire controlling the crossroads of the world. Every minaret, every palace dome, every imperial mosque proclaims that Istanbul has become the center of a civilization that makes European kingdoms look like provincial territories. The 1660s Ottoman architecture reaches artistic perfection, the Sultan's court displays unprecedented luxury, and Islamic culture achieves synthesis of Eastern wisdom and imperial grandeur. This isn't just Eastern power. It's proving that Islamic civilization can dominate the world while Europeans exhaust themselves fighting among themselves. In this video, I use cutting-edge AI tools to resurrect 1660s Istanbul, bringing Ottoman miniatures, imperial records, and architectural drawings to life from perspectives their original artists never could capture. We're not just observing this Islamic empire, we're experiencing it, discovering how Ottoman genius created the most magnificent Eastern capital in history, the city between two worlds. Picture Istanbul's unique geography in 1665. This isn't just strategically located, it's the only city on Earth that literally bridges 2 continents. The Bosphorus Strait flows beneath your feet, while Europe stretches to your left and Asia extends to your right. Every ship passing between the Black Sea and Mediterranean must navigate Ottoman-controlled waters. Russian grain, Crimean furs, Persian silk, Indian spices all flow through Istanbul's harbors under Sultan's customs control. The Ottomans haven't just conquered territory, they've seized the world's most valuable trade junction. But Istanbul's real power lies deeper than geography. This city represents the fusion of Eastern wisdom and imperial ambition, Islamic faith and cosmopolitan culture, ancient tradition and contemporary innovation. Standing here, you're at the crossroads of civilizations. Sultan Mehmed IV, Commander of the Faithful, meet Sultan Mehmed IV in 1665. At 23 years old, he commands an empire that dwarfs any European power. But unlike Christian kings who rule by inheritance, the Sultan governs as God's representative on earth, combining political authority with religious leadership. Picture the Sultan's morning routine in Topkapi Palace. He doesn't just review government business, he fulfills sacred duties that affect millions of Muslim subjects from Budapest to Baghdad. Every decision carries both earthly and spiritual consequences. Watch him receive foreign ambassadors in the Imperial Council chamber. European diplomats bow before Ottoman majesty, while the Sultan, elevated on his throne, demonstrates that Islamic civilization operates according to different principles than Christian monarchy. His daily schedule reflects empire-spanning responsibilities. Morning prayers connect him to divine authority. Afternoon councils coordinate governance across 3 continents. Evening audiences receive reports from governors managing populations that speak dozens of languages. Topkapi Palace, the Sultan's sacred world. Step through the imperial gate into Topkapi Palace, the nerve center of Ottoman power. This isn't just royal residence, it's a sacred complex where Islamic government achieves its most sophisticated expression. Picture the second courtyard where hundreds of palace officials conduct imperial business in complete silence. Ottoman court protocol creates an atmosphere of reverence impossible in noisy European palaces. Every gesture, every movement follows centuries of refined tradition. The harem represents the palace's most mysterious dimension. Here, the Sultan's family lives in luxury that surpasses any European court, while imperial women exercise influence over succession and policy that shapes the empire's future. But look deeper into Topkapi's organization. The palace operates as a training ground for imperial administrators, where young men from across the empire receive education that transforms them into sophisticated bureaucrats capable of governing diverse populations. The architectural revolution. Throughout Istanbul, architectural masterpieces demonstrate Ottoman aesthetic achievement at its peak. Picture Sinan's magnificent mosques, creating skylines that define Islamic urban beauty, cascading domes and soaring minarets that turn the city itself into spiritual experience. The Blue Mosque, completed just decades earlier, showcases Ottoman architectural genius. 6 minarets announce imperial ambition, while interior decorations create environments where earthly beauty serves divine worship. Imagine entering these sacred spaces during Friday prayers. Thousands of worshippers create human geometric patterns, while architectural acoustics amplify prayers into spiritual music. This isn't just architecture, it's technology serving faith. Ottoman builders have solved engineering challenges that European architects haven't attempted. Massive domes rest on elegant supports, while interior lighting creates effects that transform stone into something approaching divine radiance. The Grand Bazaar, commerce as culture. Enter the Grand Bazaar, the beating heart of Ottoman commercial life. This isn't just marketplace, it's covered city where trade becomes cultural experience. 4,000 shops operate under a single roof, creating the world's first shopping mall centuries before Europeans imagined such spaces. Picture merchants from across the known world conducting business in dozens of languages. Persian carpet dealers negotiate with Venetian silk traders, while Crimean fur merchants bargain with Indian spice importers. Ottoman tolerance creates commercial opportunities impossible in religiously divided Europe. The bazaar's organization reflects Ottoman administrative genius. Guild systems maintain quality standards while preventing unfair competition, creating economic environments where craftsmanship flourishes under imperial protection. But notice something profound happening here. Commercial success depends not on military conquest, but on cultural synthesis, the ability to create spaces where different civilizations can interact peacefully for mutual benefit. Islamic law and Ottoman justice. Picture the complex legal system that governs Ottoman territories. Islamic law provides fundamental principles, while Ottoman administrative codes adapt those principles to imperial needs. This isn't just legislation, it's jurisprudence that balances divine commandments with practical governance. Ottoman courts operate throughout the empire, staffed by judges trained in both Islamic theology and imperial administration. Legal decisions must satisfy religious requirements while serving imperial stability. The Sultan's role as lawgiver reflects Islamic principles about political authority. Unlike European monarchs who claim divine right, Ottoman rulers govern as stewards responsible to God for their subjects' welfare. This legal philosophy creates administrative practices that often surpass European standards for fairness and efficiency. Ottoman justice may be strict, but it's consistently applied according to known principles rather than royal whim. The Janissary Corps, elite of Islam. Watch the Janissary Corps training in their barracks near the palace. These aren't ordinary soldiers. They're elite infantry recruited as children from Christian populations and converted to Islam through rigorous military and religious education. Picture Janissary discipline, creating military advantages that European armies struggle to match. Their loyalty belongs to the Sultan and Islamic faith, rather than tribal or national affiliations. making them more reliable than feudal levies serving European monarchs. Janissary tactics combine traditional Islamic warrior skills with innovative firearms techniques. Their musket volleys devastate European cavalry charges, while their disciplined formations maintain effectiveness under pressure that breaks other armies. But the Janissaries represent more than military innovation. They embody Ottoman social mobility principles that allow merit to overcome birth circumstances in ways impossible under European class systems. Cultural synthesis. Empire of many people. Daily life in 1665 Istanbul reflects the empire's extraordinary diversity. Picture neighborhoods where Turkish administrators live beside Greek merchants, Armenian craftsmen, Jewish scholars and Arab theologians, creating cosmopolitan culture unmatched anywhere in Europe. Ottoman tolerance isn't just political expedient, it's imperial necessity that maximizes talent utilization while minimizing resistance. The empire succeeds by incorporating rather than destroying existing cultural achievements. Religious minorities maintain their own institutions under Ottoman protection. Christian churches and Jewish synagogues operate openly, while their leaders participate in imperial governance according to their expertise rather than their faith. This diversity creates intellectual environments where Islamic, Christian and Jewish scholars collaborate on projects that advance human knowledge across religious boundaries. The Imperial Navy, masters of eastern seas. Picture Ottoman naval power dominating Mediterranean and Black Sea waters. The imperial fleet operates from arsenals that rival Venice in productivity while controlling sea routes that connect 3 continents. Ottoman naval architecture adapts Islamic geometric principles to maritime needs. Galleys decorated with calligraphic inscriptions carry crews trained in both seamanship and religious devotion, creating naval forces that fight with spiritual as well as tactical motivation. The fleet's logistics reveal Ottoman administrative sophistication. Supply networks stretch from Crimean shipyards to Egyptian rope factories, while naval bases throughout Ottoman territories provide strategic depth impossible for European competitors. Ottoman maritime power protects pilgrimage routes to Mecca, while facilitating commercial networks that span from Morocco to Indonesia, making the Sultan protector of Islamic civilization worldwide. Science and learning. Islamic Renaissance. Within Topkapi Palace and throughout Istanbul, Ottoman scholars pursue investigations that advance human understanding. Picture libraries containing manuscripts in Arabic, Persian, Turkish, Greek, and Latin, creating intellectual resources unmatched by any European capital. Ottoman patronage supports astronomical research that improves navigation while medical studies advance surgical techniques. Islamic scholars build upon classical Greek achievements while incorporating discoveries from India, China, and Persia. The palace school system creates educational opportunities that transform talented individuals from across the empire into sophisticated administrators capable of governing diverse populations according to Islamic principles. Mathematical and architectural achievements demonstrate that Islamic civilization continues producing innovations that influence world development rather than merely preserving ancient knowledge. Economic foundations. Trade empire. Behind Istanbul's magnificence operates economic machinery that connects 3 continents through commercial networks. Picture caravans arriving from Persia, carrying silk while ships from Egypt deliver coffee, sugar and precious stones. Ottoman currency maintains stability across vast territories where diverse populations conduct business according to standardized weights, measures, and commercial codes. Imperial economic policy creates predictable environments where long-distance trade flourishes. Agricultural revenues from fertile Anatolian and Balkan territories provide tax base that finances imperial administration, while tribute from conquered territories adds resources for military expansion and architectural projects. But Ottoman economic success depends increasingly on maintaining trade routes that European maritime powers seek to control through oceanic alternatives to overland passages. Religious life, submission and splendor. Picture daily religious observance, creating rhythms that organize urban life according to Islamic principles. 5 daily prayers interrupt commercial and administrative activities, while Friday congregational worship demonstrates communal solidarity. Ramadan transforms the city into spiritual theater, where fasting and evening celebrations create shared experiences that unite diverse populations under Islamic identity. Ottoman religious policy encourages devotion while accommodating practical needs of imperial governance. Sufi mystical traditions flourish under Ottoman patronage, creating spiritual practices that deepen individual faith while strengthening social cohesion. Religious festivals become occasions for imperial ceremony that reinforces political authority through spiritual celebration. The annual pilgrimage to Mecca receives imperial protection and subsidies, making the Ottoman Sultan protector of Islam's holiest sites and demonstrating religious responsibilities that transcend political boundaries. Women in Ottoman society. Behind palace walls and throughout Istanbul neighborhoods, Ottoman women exercise influence that European observers often misunderstand. Picture the complex social systems that provide women with property rights, educational opportunities, and political influence unknown in many Christian societies. Imperial women in the harem wield power over succession decisions, while wealthy merchant families provide women with business opportunities that create independent economic resources. Ottoman legal traditions protect women's inheritance rights, while religious education creates female scholars capable of contributing to Islamic intellectual life. Social restrictions exist, but so do opportunities for achievement and influence. Female patronage supports architectural and artistic projects that shape Istanbul's cultural development, demonstrating that Ottoman civilization benefits from women's contributions even within traditional Islamic frameworks. Art and aesthetics, divine geometry. Throughout Istanbul, decorative arts demonstrate Islamic aesthetic principles translated into imperial grandeur. Picture calligraphy that transforms religious texts into visual poetry, while geometric patterns create infinite variations on mathematical themes. Ottoman artistic traditions synthesize Persian miniature painting, Arab calligraphy, and Turkish decorative techniques into distinctive imperial style. Palace workshops produce luxury objects that combine spiritual meaning with material beauty. Textile arts reach unprecedented sophistication as Ottoman designers create patterns that influence European fashion while maintaining distinctive Islamic characteristics. Silk production rivals Persian quality while incorporating local innovations. These artistic achievements aren't merely decorative, they embody Islamic theological principles about divine beauty, manifesting through human creativity, guided by religious devotion. The European challenge. By 1665, Ottoman expansion faces increasing European resistance. Picture military campaigns that achieve tactical victories while confronting strategic problems created by coordinated Christian opposition and technological developments that favor European armies. The siege of Vienna approaching in 1683 will test whether Ottoman military advantages can overcome European innovations in artillery, fortification, and alliance diplomacy. Economic competition from oceanic trade routes threatens Ottoman control of Asian commerce, while European manufacturing challenges traditional Islamic craft superiority in luxury goods production. These pressures don't represent immediate crisis, but evolutionary challenges that will determine whether Ottoman imperial methods can adapt to changing global circumstances. Daily rhythms of empire. Picture typical daily life for Istanbul residents in 1665. Morning prayers orient spiritual life toward Mecca, while commercial activities begin in bazaars and workshops throughout the city. Afternoon heat creates rest periods that European visitors find puzzling, while evening coolness revives social and business interactions. Hammam bathing houses provide social centers where different classes and ethnicities interact according to Islamic cleanliness principles, while coffee houses create informal gathering spaces for political discussion and intellectual exchange. Seasonal celebrations mark religious calendar, while imperial ceremonies demonstrate Ottoman power through pageantry that combines spiritual devotion with political theatre. The city's growth reflects imperial success as migration from across Ottoman territories creates neighborhoods organized by craft, ethnicity, and religious affiliation rather than rigid social hierarchy. Architecture of faith. Throughout Istanbul, mosque construction represents Ottoman architectural achievement at its peak. Picture spaces designed to facilitate Islamic worship while proclaiming imperial magnificence through geometric perfection and spiritual beauty. Courtyard fountains provide ritual cleansing facilities, while interior arrangements accommodate congregational prayers that unite worshippers regardless of social status. Acoustic design amplifies Quranic recitation while lighting effects create atmospheres conducive to spiritual contemplation. Minaret design announces Islamic presence across urban landscapes while dome construction demonstrates engineering capabilities that rival any contemporary European achievements. These architectural accomplishments serve both practical and symbolic functions, providing worship spaces for growing Muslim populations while asserting Islamic civilization's aesthetic and technical superiority. The Sultan's dilemma. By 1670, Sultan Mehmed IV confronts imperial challenges that test Ottoman adaptability. Picture reports from frontier provinces describing European military innovations that neutralize traditional Ottoman tactical advantages. Administrative complexity increases as the empire's territorial extent outgrows traditional governance methods, while diverse populations require increasingly sophisticated management approaches. Economic pressures mount as European oceanic trade reduces Ottoman control over Asian commerce, while military expenses consume resources faster than territorial expansion can provide them. Religious considerations complicate diplomatic relations with European powers, while internal theological debates influence political decisions about imperial policies. The Eternal City. Standing on the Galata Bridge at sunset in 1670, you witness something unprecedented in human history, an Islamic empire that has successfully bridged Eastern wisdom and Western ambition while creating urban beauty that rivals any achievement in human civilization. Istanbul has proved that Islamic civilization can govern diverse populations while maintaining religious authenticity, that Eastern architectural principles can create beauty rivaling European achievements, that Ottoman administrative methods can coordinate governance across 3 continents. Picture the call to prayer echoing across the Golden Horn as hundreds of minarets announce the empire's spiritual foundations while palace lights reflect imperial power that spans from Hungary to Yemen. You're witnessing the peak moment of Islamic imperial achievement, when Ottoman innovation reached its greatest success while facing challenges that will test whether Eastern civilization can adapt to changing global circumstances. The empire that radiates from Istanbul's 7 hills represents human cultural achievement at its most sophisticated, the synthesis of faith and power, tradition and innovation, Eastern wisdom and imperial ambition that creates civilization worthy of its divine inspiration. The living legacy. Today, visitors to Istanbul still experience the city that Ottoman architects and administrators created. Topkapi Palace preserves rooms where continental strategy was planned, while mosques continue providing worship spaces designed for spiritual beauty and communal solidarity. But in 1665, this wasn't historical monument. It was living empire at its peak, the moment when Islamic civilization achieved its greatest territorial extent and cultural sophistication. Imagine one final moment as evening prayers conclude across Istanbul in 1665. Minarets silhouetted against Turkish twilight, while palace windows glow with administrative activity that governs territories spanning 3 time zones. You're witnessing the culmination of Islamic imperial achievement, when Ottoman genius proved that Eastern civilization could create beauty, power, and cultural synthesis rivaling any human accomplishment while maintaining spiritual authenticity that connects earthly success to divine purpose. The empire that flows from Istanbul's strategic position represents humanity's most successful fusion of religious devotion and political ambition, demonstrating that Islamic principles can govern diverse populations while creating architectural and cultural achievements worthy of civilization's highest aspirations. That's all for our journey through Istanbul's Islamic Golden Age. If there's another civilization at its peak, another moment when faith and power created unprecedented beauty, another empire that proved alternative paths to greatness, let me know in the comments. Until next time.